Every company, whether you're coaching or you're selling socks, solves a problem. You have to figure out what problem your coaching urgently solves. Friends, welcome back to another episode of SixFigure Certified. I'm your host, Liv Chapman, and we are going to talk about how to create your goldmine niche, aka a very specific niche that attracts premium coaching clients. And if you're triggered by that, that's okay. Once you are wealthy, healthy, and wise and making multiple six figures in your coaching business, you can give back and you can work with whoever you want. But what I've really learned over the years is that you need a premium offer first. You need to be able to sell a very high-end, high transformation, often higher investment coaching product if you really want this to be a business. So I want to go over today how to define that niche, how to figure out who your premium clients are, because I have to say it's well beyond like women aged 24 to 32 and all of that outdated ideal client avatar stuff. And the coaching industry has just changed over the years. It takes a lot more direction, it takes a lot more intention, and it takes a lot more high-level communication of what outcomes, results, or transformations you are promising with your coaching offer in order to get hired and run a sustainable coaching business. So let's get into it. The first thing is, what is a goldmine niche? Now, goldmine is just to get your attention and have you listen to this episode and click on that thumbnail. But the reality is, it's not an age, it's not a location, it's not a gender, it's not a very generic label like burnt out CEO or overwhelmed mom or a woman who wants the soft life, or God forbid, someone who wants to feel aligned or empowered. Well, that language is lovely. It's not high converting language, and it's not going to make someone go, I need that right now, which is ultimately the feeling you need people to feel in order to be able to be hired. Every company, whether you're coaching or you're selling socks, solves a problem. You have to figure out what problem your coaching urgently solves. And I have said this in 70 billion ways on many, many different episodes. When we are talking about niche, we are talking about marketing. We are talking about the language that you use to communicate the value of your coaching services. Any well-trained coach knows that what happens in your coaching sessions can be anywhere from personal support, career support, business, emotional, relationships, self-love, confidence. You can go anywhere. But someone is not hiring a coach, especially at a premium price point, to help them feel aligned. That is too vague. It does not, no one is waking up in the morning saying, wow, I'd love to spend 3, 5, maybe even $10,000 to feel more aligned. The heck? No. What people are paying for and investing in, not just money. There's a lot of problems you can just throw lump sums of money at. Coaching is one that requires the human on the other end of the phone or the Zoom or the across the table to actually show up and put some effort in. So this isn't even just about a premium client when it comes to what they're willing to pay, but a premium client in terms of the time they're willing to invest in the coaching and in the transformation. And people will only do that if they know that you can help them solve an exact problem. So being able to do that means you have a very well-defined niche that covers a problem that people are willing to pay to have solved. Let me give you a couple examples. Instead of, I want to work with people who want to be more confident, you want to work with someone who is going up for a promotion. You want to work with someone who is about to run their first marathon. You want to work with someone who is ready to start dating again. The problem has to be tangible and it has to be something that people pay for. I've said this so many times. Generally speaking, people pay for health, wealth, and love. So in some way, shape, or form, your coaching offer needs to translate that way. You can push back on this. Yes, there are some clients who love the word empowerment, love paying for confidence, love paying for these vague, less tangible outcomes. That is not the norm. That is the exception. And likely that exception comes from a referral. It comes from people who already know, like, and trust you. It comes from a buyer who maybe has done some coaching before, so they just kind of like you and connect with you, so they don't need to understand those exact tangible outcomes. But as you are growing your audience and making people aware of your company, your coaching, what you sell, the transformation, The more direct, the more exact, the more easy to understand transformation that you can describe, the easier it's going to be to get people to talk to you about coaching in a consultation or discovery call or sales call, and ultimately get people to enroll with you. Premium buyers at the end of the day, they want certainty. They want speed. So they typically don't want to spend months and months and months trying to figure something out that's going to cost them more money. And they want expertise. They want someone who shows up as a professional, who has a proven track record of results. And ultimately, they can say, like, okay, this person has some testimonials, or they have some letters behind their name, or they have some, brand recognition or partnerships or endorsements from certain people. If you're brand new and you're like, well, I don't have any of that, then go do some pro bono clients and get some really good testimonials. That's it. That's your option. Every single coach, every single human in every single position has started as a beginner. If that's where you are and now you're thinking like, oh, this is like, I'm way at the bottom. No, you're not. Work your way up to the top. Go do a free session for somebody who is in your ideal client realm, someone who's willing to pay for coaching and would pay for coaching and has people in their life that would benefit from your coaching. Do a free session or two with them and get a testimonial, and then ask them for referrals. If you are hesitant about doing a good job in that session or two, go to innerglowcircle.com/workshop. My point is, maybe you need to be trained. Maybe you need training. Maybe you need feedback. Maybe you need evaluation. Maybe you need to know that you are a really great coach before you feel confident to go out and start doing it. All right. One of the greatest misconceptions around what premium buyers will invest into because of the actual definition of coaching. So let me run it back real quick. Coaching is a collaborative, co-creative process. What that means is that you are not, as the coach, giving the person their goals. You are not telling them what to do. Coaching is created together. So you are asking a lot of questions. You are figuring out the game plan, and you are kind of holding the container for the transformation to take place. However, what is not going to work inside of marketing coaching is saying things like, we're just going to figure it out together. That does not feel reassuring. That does not feel exact. So when it comes to your marketing, you want things to feel exact. You want the message to be clear, and you want to be able to confidently tell a prospect or future client the exact transformation that your coaching can have. And the only way that you know that, obviously, you can state that, but the only other way you know that is through working with some clients. And you got to start somewhere. And if it's pro bono, it's pro bono. But you may also be coaching on the job or coaching in some capacity in your current profession or in your current hobbies or volunteer work or whatever. Create a formalized container around that and ask the person that you're working with for some feedback after. That can also help you to see exactly what kind of transformation you create with your clients. Let's move on. Here's the other thing about premium buyers. What I find is people come into coaching and they want to become a coach because they have really beautiful aspirations to help people who are in really bad situations. And that is all really good and very noble and very honorable. And also, sometimes those leads can be harder to convert, especially when they are in really bad situations at this current moment. So, I want you to also be open to taking on some premium clients, meaning people who are they already see themselves as winning. They already see themselves as capable. They just need a little bit of help. They're not in a bad place in their life right now to the point where they cannot be a part of the process to help themselves. Okay. So people who are ready, they are capable, and they understand that coaching, right? This is coaching we're talking about, not mentorship, not advising, not social work, not therapy, not psychiatry or psychology. This is coaching we are talking about. The human has to be fully capable of participating in the coaching. All right. So, and someone who sees themselves as capable to do so. We know that anyone can rise to the occasion, but a ready to buy client is someone who already knows that within themselves. The next thing, they invest in growth. So they maybe have invested in education, they maybe have invested in hobbies, they may have invested in other coaching, consulting, advising types of services. They may just be someone who likes to invest in their personal well-being or personal development. Maybe they go to retreats, maybe they do yoga. I don't know. It could be a range of different things, but someone who is used to investing in themselves and that knows that doing so creates better outcome for their life. The last thing, it's someone who values support. It is very hard to enroll a client who doesn't understand the value of support. Premium clients do. They know that they can't do everything alone. They know that getting the right support is going to take them further faster, which is why that is a regular part of their life. Seeking support, seeking partnership, trying to network or connect with someone that's mutually beneficial. All right. These are the kind of people that invest and invest now in coaching. Think about leaders, business professionals, career women or men, obviously, business owners. You ultimately want to have a gold mine offer that is available to people who are ready to invest in themselves and who are already doing so. So, what you really need to ask yourself is who already believes in investing in themselves, and how can I make my offer align to them? The real thing is, if you are a credentialed coach, especially through the ICF, which means you've learned all of the coaching core competencies, you can coach anyone around anything technically. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter how you package it. You want to package it in a way that speaks to the people that you ultimately want to be on the phone with. And sometimes their language, the problems that they're going through, doesn't sound like the coaching jargon that you're used to or the empowering language that you feel more connected to now that you've had your own personal development journey. Sometimes it simply sounds like, I need a promotion but I'm too afraid to speak up for myself. Or I want to quit my job and start a business, but I do not feel confident in the next steps. Or I want to finally feel good about myself and get back out there and start dating again. I want to find the love of my life, but I don't know where to begin. I want to improve the relationship that I'm in, any and all of those things. They're not going to sound like, I want to wake up and feel alive in my soul and empowered on my journey towards personal growth. I mean, maybe, but usually, let me tell you, usually the gold mine niche is found in the person's complaint. It's found in the person's complaint. So if you know you want to work with high powered women, get around them and figure out what they're complaining about. If you know you want to work with burnt out teachers, get in the room with them, figure out what they're complaining about. If you know that you want to work with women who have just gotten out of divorce, get in the room with them. Figure out what they're complaining about. Did you catch my drift? That's often where you can find that language that makes it so much easier for someone to say, I need that now. Self-select into your coaching. That is going to cut the timeline of you trying to explain what coaching is, make it so clear that they know. Use their language to do that. The last thing I want to bring up is really leveraging market trends, especially in 2026. I've been in the coaching industry for, I don't even know, over a decade at this point. Things have changed. The coaching industry has quadrupled and there are more coaches than ever. The good news is there's not more great coaches than ever. So there's definitely room for you. Because I know if you're watching this or listening to this, the likelihood that you actually want to be really great and be seen and treated as a professional in this industry is very high. You are not the one who just thinks that you're going to create little cute Canva reels and then sell a $10,000 coaching package. Maybe someone does it, but remember, they are the exception. They are not the rule. The rule is typically that professional coaches, well-trained coaches, credentialed coaches are actually the highest earners in the industry, not the influencer coach. So here's the thing. You got to leverage the market trends. What people want now is exact. They want answers. They want easy to understand, digestible solutions to their problems, and they want immediate results. Now, we know inside of coaching, it can take longer than that, longer than immediate, of course, because it takes inner work. It takes some being work to get the internal work to create the external results. But I highly suggest packaging something in a 90-day container. It's easy to digest. People can comprehend. It's a quarter, it's 90 days to change a habit, kind of falls into that whole, more palatable timeline for most people. There's also always going to be some future-proof niches: marketing coaches, business coaches, leadership coaches, career coaches, executive coaches. Anything in that realm is pretty future-proof. Meaning there's always going to be people that want to make more money. There's always going to be people that want to move up in their career. And despite the economy, which you can push back on me as well if you want to, but the coaching industry has only grown since the economy has gone or gotten worse. Meaning when the economy has gotten bad, people want the help to figure out how to move up, how to make more money, how to be better, how to lead better, how to create more. So you don't have anything to worry about there. There are always going to be those future-proof niches. If it is not your favorite, that's okay. You can still stick to what you want, because in order to be able to market something, you have to be so obsessed with it that you want to be talking about it every single day. But if you're just getting into coaching and you're kind of not sure and you have multiple interests, these are some areas that I would just try on for size. I would try on because they are almost shoo-ins, as long as you're great at what you do, for being able to get hired and being able to build a business. I started out as a career coach and executive coach. Easy to get in. People are always looking for this. I liked it enough to keep going. But the reason that I went into career coaching was because it was the most highly searched type of coach in the Washington, D.C. area. All right. So be smart. Choose a niche that people actually want to pay for. And I hope some of what I brought up today helps you reconsider and perhaps even just change the language of, so that you can put an offer out there that people are ready to say yes to. At the end of the day, you want to think specific outcomes, clean timelines, having a method, and having proven results. That is what's going to get premium buyers on the phone. That's going to get what is going to get premium clients to give you their credit card or enroll in your coaching program. And those are the kind of people that want to put in the time to get the results. Then you're going to have a great testimonial and the cycle repeats itself. But if you're trying to sell something vague that nobody really understands, and that someone is not waking up in the morning being like, I need to buy this thing, you are kind of setting yourself up for failure. I'm not going to lie. You will be able to likely get hired in your warm network. You will likely get some referrals, but to grow a long-term sustainable business, you need to be easy to understand in front of a wider audience. And that requires those exact, specific language, outcomes, results, transformation. And bonus points if you can get that language to mirror your ideal client's inner dialogue. That's just going to move you further, faster as well. All right, I hope this episode was helpful. If you are wondering if your niche is going to convert to actual clients, I don't have a crystal ball, but I do have a lot of years of experience. So leave it in the comments here or find me on Instagram at the Liv Chapman. DM me and tell me what you want to sell. And I will be very straight up with you on whether I think it's going to be an easy sell or a more challenging one. And remember, just because what you thought you might want to do doesn't sound like what I'm teaching you, it doesn't mean it's not possible. It may just need to be put in a little bit of a different language so that it makes your life a lot easier and it makes your business grow a lot faster. I'll see you next time.